Welcome to episode 4 of the Physiology 225 podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Jim Davis, and I'm excited to have you back as we continue our journey through the core concepts of physiology. In episode 3, we explored how cells communicate with one another to coordinate the body's activities. Today, we're going to uncover the mysteries of the cell membrane, the gatekeeper of every cell. Settle in and let's dive into this fascinating topic. Well, what is the cell membrane? The cell membrane is more than just a barrier. It's a dynamic structure that controls what enters and exits the cell, allowing it to maintain homeostasis and interact with its environment. It's built on the principles of the fluid mosaic model, which describes the membrane as a flexible, ever-moving layer composed of lipids, which are fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. There are a few key features of the fluid mosaic model. When it comes to the fluid part, the molecules of the membrane, such as phospholipids and proteins, move laterally in a two-dimensional space. This movement prevents the membrane from becoming rigid or impermeable. Mosaic. The membrane's components, lipids, proteins, and carbohydrates, are arranged in a pattern, much like a mosaic that many of us did in elementary school. This gives the membrane its unique properties. Another important part of a cell membrane is its phospholipid bilayer. This phospholipid bilayer, which is the core of the cell membrane, consists of hydrophilic heads. These phosphate-containing regions love water and face outward towards the aqueous environments inside and outside of the cell. Then there are the hydrophobic tails. These lipid regions avoid water and face inward, creating what we call a nonpolar barrier that separates the cell's interior from its surroundings. You can remember that lipids are hydrophobic because fat and water do not get along. They don't mix easily. Now, this arrangement allows the membrane to be selectively permeable, letting certain molecules through while keeping others out. This ultimately allows, this ultimately allows specific molecules to be able to cross more easily than others. Small, nonpolar molecules can slip through the membrane quite easily. Small polar molecules can also cross the membrane, but because of their distribution of charge, they travel across the membrane slower than nonpolar molecules. Then we have large nonpolar molecules. These also can pass through the membrane, but their large size makes it a much slower process. And then finally, we have large polar molecules and ions. Now, these substances require help from channels or transporters to cross the membrane due to their size and their charge. And one of the things that helps them are proteins. Now, proteins are embedded into the membrane and they play crucial roles in maintaining the cell's function. There are four primary types of proteins that we'll discuss. You have transporter proteins. These proteins facilitate the movement of specific molecules across the membrane. Next, we have receptor proteins. Receptor proteins detect signaling molecules and initiate responses. Remember this from our cell-to-cell communication podcast. Next, we have enzymes. Enzymes speed up chemical reactions that occur at the membrane. We discussed enzymes briefly during our flow down gradients podcast. And then finally, we have anchor proteins. Anchor proteins link the cell's internal structures to external environment. Ultimately, they provide support and stability. Now, there are a couple other things that can affect the cell membrane. One of those things is cholesterol. Cholesterol acts as a stabilizer within the membrane. It keeps lipids or fats from packing too tightly in cold temperatures and from becoming too fluid in high temperatures. This balance, remember our Goldilocks state we're trying to achieve, ensures the membrane remains functional under various conditions. Then we have polar versus nonpolar molecules. Now, understanding polarity is key to understanding membrane function. But for this class, we're going to keep it very simple. Polar molecules have unequal charge distribution. This means that they might have one side that has more positive charge and a different side that has more negative charge. An example of a polar molecule is water. Then we have nonpolar molecules, and these molecules have equal distribution of charge throughout them. Fats are a perfect example of nonpolar molecules. Now, this distinction helps explain why some molecules pass freely through the membrane and others require assistance. Ultimately, why does this matter? The cell membrane is vital for maintaining the internal environment of the cell. It's involved in everything from nutrient uptake and waste removal to cell signaling and structural integrity. Without it, life as we know it would not be possible. So let's summarize with our key takeaways from this episode. The cell membrane is a dynamic structure based on the fluid mosaic model. The phospholipid bilayer provides a selective barrier which allows some molecules to cross while preventing others from doing the same. Membrane proteins play diverse roles, from transporting molecules to acting as receptors. Finally, cholesterol maintains membrane's fluidity under varying conditions. So that's it for episode 4. I hope you now have a clear understanding of the cell membrane's structure and function. Join me next time for episode 5, where we'll take a closer look at enzymes and their critical role in physiology. Until then, keep questioning, keep exploring, and stay curious.